Hey folks, I'm here with Doug Miller and Greg Hackney, and we're going to tell you about a wonderful new place where you can go hunt. You do some world-class inshore fishing, redfish, trout, whatnot, and catch bass, huge bass, and big numbers of them. In fact, Greg, now you, as an Elite Series Bassmaster Pro, you fished all over the continent. You've been to Clear Lake when it was good. You've been to Falcon when it was really good. And, tell us about your day at Miller Lake at Grosse Savanne.
I've only had one opportunity to go there and actually fish the Bass Lake, Miller's Lake, and it's 484 acres of bass is the way it's seen. We caught them on everything we threw. I mean, it was just a blast. It's one of those places, it's really nice scenery, but the fishing is phenomenal. I mean, I really enjoyed it because, fishing all over the country sometimes can be a struggle. You like to go and catch them, and it's a great place just to go and catch them. And the average size was, 3 to 5 pounds. So it was just really, really fun. 3 to 5 pounds. And Doug can speak to this because among the many hats you wear at Grosse Savanne, you are the lead biologist, among other things. Went to college for that, and you know what you're doing. You've been working with the USDA, so this is right in your wheelhouse. What is going on when you got a 3-year-old lake and the bass have reached up to 7 pounds already, and you're not stocking them mature, you're stocking the fingerlings. The growth rate is 2 pounds a year. How do you pull that off?
Well, I think the diversity in the ecosystem, when you're down in a marsh situation like that, we've got an abundance of crawfish, and you add that with the threadfin shad that we put in the pond, and they're just it's like putting bass on steroids. Absolutely,
and I mean, obviously, Greg, you and I talked about the climate down there, and it is in the right zone. It's on parallel with, say, Ocala, Florida, which is known to be probably the optimal temperature zone for growing big bass. San Diego, California, right across that belt. So y'all are in a good location to start with.
Yeah, and also when we set up the pond, we wanted to get some water depth in there that could accommodate a big fish, and when we dug the levees around the 484 acres, we've got some water depths in the 10 to 12 foot range, which is somewhat unusual for that part of the country because typically those marsh situations are mostly shallow. So we've got best of both worlds, and I think with the food source we got, with the water depth we got, I think here in the next couple of years we're going to see a double-digit fish.
Absolutely. I mean, you got the right climate, the right habitat, the right forage, and you stocked some Florida string fish in there, obviously.
Yeah, we did a combination of just what I call a native bass, and then we also did the pure strain Florida bass. I wanted a situation where a group of guys or a family can go in and still catch a good mess of fish. We're not just fishing for that one big fish. We want to catch a pile of fish while we're there and still have that chance of catching a big one while you're fishing.
Yeah, and that's important because a lot of times the Florida bass are so finicky. And Greg, you've seen it. You've been all over the country in places where they've stocked them. A little weather change and they're moody and they don't bite so well. Whereas fish with more of a northern strain or other strains are really aggressive. We come out here. We've been playing around Kentucky Lake for a couple of days, and these fish will respond the way they're supposed to. They'll eat a buzz bait and you have fun.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. And I think you get a pure hybrid that way too when you have the two. Eventually you'll have mixed fish in there. The other cool thing about at Miller's Lake is you can tell when you go to one of these what I call green water fisheries. You look at that water, it has a high algae bloom in it. That's caused by a really fertile body of water, and I think that's another thing that leads to the growth rate there. And the climate in that area, they almost grow year round. There's probably only realistically a month out of the year your fish are not growing. And I can't say enough about the habitat. I mean, it looks like a jungle. I mean, that's the cool thing about it. It's a heavy cover. It looks like a place of bass should live. Yeah. You got cattails and lily pads and grass and every type of bird life and alligators. It's just a cool scenery. Their accommodations are right up there.
I understand it's worth going just for the accommodations. And so you got, obviously the bass fishing is phenomenal, and you got many other opportunities there. Tell us real quickly about the calendar at Grosse Savanne. If I want to go to Grosse Savanne and have fun year round, what's on the docket?
Yeah, well, there's quite a bit. We're pretty much a year-round, action-packed place. We were originally known for our waterfowl hunting. It's some really good duck and goose hunting down there in Southwest Louisiana because we're on the fringe of the coastal marsh and adjacent to rice fields, and just a perfect combination for waterfowl hunting. You know, and in the springtime, we do a lot of bass fishing. Of course, that's when our bass are bedding down there and spawning in late February, going into March and April. And then we move into the saltwater scene. We've got world-class redfish and speckled trout. We're adjacent to Calcasieu Lake, which is probably the #1 trophy trout fishery in the United States right now. Then September, we move into alligator season, and there's 10 days of just hardcore run and gun alligator hunting. We harvest over 200 alligators every year.
In 10 days. In
10 days, yeah. And then back to fishing in October, and then hunting season rolls around again, back to waterfowl hunting.
Always something going on at Grosse Savanne, and they're expanding the opportunities, eco tours and things like that you're going to get into. You're going to build a couple new bass lakes probably and keep expanding that. So folks, if y'all want to get in on some world-class action, world-class lodging, eating, saltwater fishing and bass fishing out the same door, same day, Doug, how do they get a hold of you?
You can go to our website at www.grossesavanne.com, or you can call Carl Zimmerman, our marketing director, at area code 337-598-2357.
Grosse Savanne, GROSSESAVANNE. For those of y'all who don't speak French, it means big pasture. You'll have a big time there. Give Doug a call, Carl a call, and we'll be back with you shortly. Thank you.